And you know what usually happens when people disagree? Fans and listeners tend to like going, like, hey, I agree with this guy on this thing, and I agree a little bit with this guy on this thing, and people don't have to fight, but it is weird because at least me personally, I don't like listening to Tim Sanctimonious, folks. Fucking do it, Joe. That's just my personal thing.
You know his middle name?
Yeah, Tim cool. Sanctimonious Pool.
He doesn't tell anybody that.
No, he doesn't. It's Tim S. Pool, like Homer J. Simpson. But you know, it's just. I don't know, man. I think a lot of the times, not just but with everybody, like you see so many shows come together and they fall apart, and then it's something else, and it's because of this. It's like, dude, don't take shit too seriously sometimes. It's like, I mean, like I said, Mercer and I have screamed at each other, and afterwards been like, all right, man, yeah, sorry I yelled. I shouldn't have yelled, but I still disagree with you, you idiot. And that's it, and move on. Instead of like, I don't know, blow an entire thing up and burn it to the ground and be like, I'm the winner. Okay, that's on you, bro. But who gives a shit, dude?
I can't switch co-hosts every 2 months like Andy Worski. You know what I mean? There's too much instability. I can't restart my life and rebrand every 3 months. I'm doing video games now, guys. You ever hear this game, Skyrim?
I love where I'm at.
It's great.
I love what I'm doing, and I have a show on Mondays called Base Death Mondays with an awesome group of guys, and I have a lot of people that have followed me through my solo career on YouTube and Rumble. I shout out to Rumble too, because Rumble is awesome. I really do enjoy it. I'll cut my stream halfway through and just continue on Rumble and talk about certain opinions that are not allowed on YouTube.
We've done that. You know, it's funny. We've done. You know what's happened to us because of Rumble. The cool thing about now we're gonna go Rumble only after a bit. And for us, it's. I mean, it was easy for us because I know a lot of people like if you're monetized on YouTube, you're still gonna make some money. The thing is, during that whole adpocalypse thing that happened with Carlos Mazza, and he had that fight with Crowder, and then they just demonetized a bunch of channels.
No.
Okay, it was a couple of years ago. Carlos Mazza, the guy from Vox, started saying that Crowder was homophobic or something, and then YouTube completely panicked and demonetized a bunch of conservative shows. Notice the adpocalypse, right? That was 3 years ago. July 3 years ago, they demonetized us and they never remonetized us. So that kills us. So we were relying on Patreon and we were relying on all of that. But once they do that, they effectively kill you. So what's happening to us when we're doing this show on YouTube and Rumble, sometimes it's not that we have to shut it off. YouTube would just kick us off and we just keep doing it on Rumble. Mm-hmm. Because at this point,
we would get a suspension and then we would do Rumble and then we would like turn to each other and go, that was a fun week of shows. Mm-hmm. Let's just start. And then we reached out to Rumble and they were pretty good to us. So we're like, let's just
feels different
over there.
There's something about being able to just flow without censoring yourself. And that's part of the reason why I'm talking about Tim nowadays. Because I found myself censoring myself to defend him, and that's like,
and it's one thing.
No reason for me to do that.
Yeah, it's one thing if you're just gonna fucking obsess over it and it's gonna be like all your content, then it's like, all right, dude, relax. But to just never mention anything is also just so weird when people are like, oh, it's fine, it's whatever. No, like, come on, man, at least say something, Like
Mersh and I have been doing this show together for a very long time, and if for one day Mersh wasn't here and I never addressed it, people would be like,
they'd be speculating like crazy, like what is going on? Like at least that one day I wasn't here, I just moved, and Royce was like, "Look, we're doing a show with producers there. He's moving. He's trying to get his fucking internet on. Like he just moved. Like give him a day." So but if you just didn't acknowledge it, people would be like, "Oh shit, they kicked him off the show."
And honestly, my opinion, and this is just me, and it's not because I have favorites.
Me off the show.
Your new set is way cooler.
Oh yeah,
no,
thank you.
No, but I'm being serious. Like that, I do love that. That look is just so much. It doesn't look like a generic podcast set. You understand what I mean? Because a lot of like, there's a lot of shows. I don't know if I'm sure you've seen it, but like the LA podcasting scene is basically turned into a cam horse thing where they just have warehouses. They have warehouses of different podcasting studios where they just pop people in, and it's like Mike Rowe was talking about actually. I think with Theo Vaughn talking about how like. Something about podcasting still needs to be a little punk rock, and I kind of agree with that. Mm-hmm. Where it needs to be a little, you need to separate yourself from the mainstream, and I think that's a big thing.
I have one concern. It's a little bit of a minor criticism. It's constructive though. Not enough product placement on there. You don't look like enough of a whore. We need some G Fuel up there.
Oh yeah,
we need some brand. We need some Black Rifle coffee up there.
Whoa. This is my Krigler coffee mug.
There you go.
Nice.
My own coffee company.
My
mom designed this logo, and this is an American mug, made in America. I don't have products because it's so damn hard to find something made in America, and I don't like supporting, cheap labor and shit from overseas.
That's literally like
you don't want your products made by 12-year-old Chinese kids. Yeah.
No,
me neither. The quality.
That was like the most wholesome shit I've ever heard. I got my own coffee company. My mom roasts the coffee beans. You're like, okay, well, damn.
This sounds amazing.
Hand roasted after you order it.
Damn.
She calls you sugar when she hands it to you. It's a wonderful experience. But that's awesome.
I don't think they bring it to the house brewed.
I don't know how it works.
Hand you a cup of coffee.
But that is actually that is cool. And there's a lot of people that are kind of like doing that. That's the other punk rock thing I do talk about when it. And I know it's kind of a cringe way to see it, but when I'm talking about like even the advertisers we get, like we're not getting J.P. Morgan, you know what I mean? We're getting other companies, and usually the cool thing about podcasting I found is that you're usually supporting like family-owned companies or owned by one person, and it's not like brought to you. This don't fucking check out Adam's next segment called the Pfizer Files, brought to you by Pfizer. We're gonna tell you why these drugs are so great.
No, that would be great. And then like Colbert do a little musical number.
Yeah. Who's your favorite late night talk host?
Oh man,
Greg Gutfeld.
Greg Gutfeld needs a studio audience. Greg Gutfeld does a little boomer sometimes.
Nick Rekieta.
Yeah. Okay. Nick Rekieta's our boy. We love Rekieta. He's our boy. So
he's anytime he's been to Florida, I always meet up with him.
He's a good dude.
That's who I watch late night. I don't watch any of the main legacy media guys. Like fuck all that shit.
Dude, he pissed a lot of people off with Rittenhouse and then the Amber Heard stuff. Like there was legit networks being like he's leeching off of it. Like only we should be able to cover this public domain footage. Like it was insane how they were trying to strike him.
Lauren Crime hit him with a strike.
So mad that he was just pulling numbers, but he was like, it's like, yeah, if you guys just do an honest show with honest people and everybody's having a good time.
Who knew?
People would watch the fucking show, but if you guys are just gonna be stiff, boring, and woke, people are like, that sucks. And like Nick to your point earlier, Nick brings in people he doesn't fucking agree with, and he argues with them. But it's like they have a good time, and people go, okay, cool. This is what a show used to sound like. People with different, varying opinions, and going, nah, I disagree, and then making fun of shit and still having fun. And he does a good show, man. I like Nick. I like when he gets a little. When he starts getting a little sloppy towards the end.
Sloppy Nick's the best nigga. You kidding me?
When he's trying to get through the super chats.
But that
when he's reading Unbreaded,
But it's great because it reminds me of old like Johnny Carson, because he was another one that was known to do a little bit of the sauce when he was doing the show. It's true. He drank a lot. Ed McMahon is so many scenes you can look at him.
I was gonna say you watch Rekieta in hour 4. He's more like an Ed McMahon.
Yeah. So okay, we're
always entertaining.
We're like fucking all over the place.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So wanted to get to this. So DeSantis I don't know if you saw DeSantis' reply. They asked him finally, and it was, in my opinion, the term is, and maybe this is why Trump is pissed, presidential in reply. In his phrasing, it was presidential. He didn't actively take a shot at Trump. He kept saying corporate media and all of these people. But my favorite part was he did the scoreboard, and that kept making me laugh. So what do you do?
Look, the numbers. Like, ooh, Trump's like that motherfucker.
Sorry, Trump. I like Republicans that win by so much they can't cheat.
Well,
damn.
To be honest, DeSantis won by 20 points.
Yeah.
19. Hold on. He also, I can't say he, because the vote as a whole has completely redone their entire election system to get rid of fraud.
And it worked. And one day we had
clearly it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think Trump hurt some people this time around, and I don't know, with Oz, and then like the brand got kind of cheapened. It was kind of like the NWO back in the day in WCW when they started letting Just everybody. Buff Bagwell was in it. And, like, you know, they just started adding Vincent. And
Well,
then like, all right, well, now it's you have Scott Norton in the NWO now. So, like, he had some real, like, J.D. Vance, and, like, Trump had a cool brand. And then it was like, no, also Dr. Oz and Herschel Walker. And it was like he really cheapened the brand. And DeSantis kept kind of an arm's length thing with Trump. And I feel like if he had more of the Trump thing behind him, he probably would have lost 2 or 3 points in the polls. So the fact that DeSantis is like this standalone dude right now, and he's like, good luck to all those guys, man. But, you know, I'm doing my own thing over here. I think it helped him.
Well, the fucking Zeldin asked DeSantis to go help him during the election. He didn't ask Trump, so Trump was also bitter about that.
That didn't help him, did it?
No. So what do you think? Like, what do you like right now? If who does a Republican? Who do you think? I know you're not a Republican, but let's say you're in the RNC. Who would you back as your candidate if you had to choose?
Between the two of them?
Yeah, between those two. I can't imagine anybody that's gonna come in out of nowhere, you know.
DeSantis,
I don't know. I would probably vote Trump because I want. I don't want to lose Florida. I think Florida is really important. I would love if this was all a ploy to try to convince people that they're against each other, and then
They run together or something.
in like 3 hours, he's gonna. Although he didn't say her, I think like a couple days ago in an interview talking about who was running in my team. So whether that's like Martin Taylor Greene or like maybe Carrie Lake now that she's available essentially.
Yeah, let's run our female data. Let's do that.
Yeah, who knows? I would love it if they just were like Trump DeSantis. You know, Trump moves to New Jersey, whatever he's got his place there to make it legal. Because that's like the leftist version of like, oh, you think that that's even possible? It's like, well, you know, Trump.
Yeah, he can literally move at any moment that he wants. Well, and I've been reading about that too, but I don't think it's one of those. I don't think it's like a big work because you said it earlier. Like, I don't think Trump's ego would even allow him to do that. That's just my opinion. But this is the thing.
I don't know if I agree.
We've said this
I see
on
what you mean.
we said this on this show. As a Floridian, I don't want to lose DeSantis. We've said that. We even before Trump started the sanctimonious thing, I was like, I know it's greedy. I understand this is a greedy thing because we're in Florida, but I'm like, if I could get any extra second that I could have in here, I'll take it. And not because you're just simping. It's like, no, as a Floridian, he's the first governor that wasn't in Disney's pocket, Republican or Democrat. As somebody who lives here, we live in Orlando, like we're right by Disney. As somebody who lives here, Disney owned the state, not Central. They owned the state. Whatever Disney said, everyone bent over backwards. And when he finally goes, you know what? Not anymore. We're fucking done. You don't get your own country now. You don't get the United States of Disney in Florida. You're not the Vatican. You know. You don't. This is not how this is going to work. That to me was like finally someone told these assholes to shut up. And then
I like that a lot about him.
The election thing you said, that's something that I think it's
wrong?
underreported. I'm glad you said it. He fixed the election system
play it
here.
and more it
It is
lags.
not the hanging Chad days anymore. Elections get done in a day. We know who wins,
Yep.
and that for me is why I think we get a little defensive, and I think it might be a little bit because of also the sports thing. Was like, don't fuck with our quarterback, bro. Leave us alone, you know.
And Royce is right, man. Fuck you, Disney. Like he said, you're not the Vatican. No matter how many children you fuck, you will never, ever be the Vatican.
Damn.
A lot of catching up to do.
That's very funny.
Yeah, DeSantis really shined a light on them.
Mhm.
And instead of trying to scurry away and hide, they kind of planted their ground and said, oh, no, we don't say gay. And it was like, the world is like, what the fuck? He didn't say that. That's not what he was saying at all. Like, why are you bringing that into this? What?
I think there's some truth to your theory that they're maybe just playing this off because
so?
think about it. We all made the comment when we heard the Ron DeSanctimonious and all this other shit. He's really he's off his game. He's being real weak about this, and it almost looks like when you're watching a boxing match, you're like, is this guy throwing the fight? He fights better than this. What is he doing? So I'm wondering if you're right. Maybe they are just saying, hey, Ron DeSanctimonious. That would be the best outcome, right? Like you could have came up with a better nickname than that. You knew that wasn't going to catch on. So maybe you're right. Maybe they are just kind of like, let's act like we don't like each other.
Well, imagine that ticket, right? Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis going against Biden.
Oh no, I don't think. I honestly think
he ain't gonna last long enough.
Well, I don't. But truth be told,
that's another conversation. But
yeah, it's a good. But we'll actually do that one next. But before we do that, I will agree that because of the Florida support and because of the MAGA movement, if they were to do that, I don't think that they would be. I don't think anybody right now, even Newsom, would be able to beat that ticket.
On.
I agree with you. But my only thing with that is that now we always
Newsom.
And it triggered it.
Frightening premise.
So now
we always talk about Newsom's wife right now was just speaking at the Harvey Weinstein trial. We were covering like that's weird, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
But I think that the other thing is we talk about Trump.
You gonna play the keyboard now? Okay.
DeSantis wants to be a VP.
Like no, I'm playing the keyboard. No,
I don't think he wants to go to DC.
Can't change back.
He had that statement of why he ran for governor. It's because he wanted to be around his kids as they grow up, and his kids are what, like 8?
They're very young. They're very young.
They're kids still.
He's
so
young.
It's like he wants to live in Florida until they're teenagers. I'm assuming. So play out governorship until Trump can't run anymore. Because he knows that if he goes against Trump, it's going to be them dueling each other essentially.
It's going to hurt both of them. There's no way that doesn't hurt both of them.
They're the two top runners. There's no one else that could maybe hit the numbers that both of those men can hit.
That's been my theory. I've been praying for is that we get him for the 4 more years. I'm hoping he's looking at the Trump thing and going, "This is going to be a 3-ring fucking circus. I don't want to be in the Jerry Springer show election." Could do the 4 years. Then he can go run for Senate. He can go walk into any Senate or congressional seat in this state after he's governor. I mean, he could literally primary any Republican and be like, "Just get out."
What do you think?
What is my seat now? And then that's 2 years. He could sit around for 2 years, stay involved, and then like, all right, 2028 kids getting older now. Like then it can be a little different. But yeah,
that's a really good point, Adam. I forgot about that. That he did say that he wanted to be around his kids when they went to school. So you do have to wonder if that.
You know who else said that once? Tom Brady. And then guess what? When they asked him to put the fucking jersey back on, he put the jersey back on like a champion.
There's a third party that you're going to bring into the equation, Giselle. Although I have worked with her, I've met her. She is very nice.
Right.
Of course, I've never married a woman, so you never know what they're like.
Right. I mean, that's right. That's a really good point. I think
the loveliest women in the world right now are driving some motherfucker crazy. At least a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's actually a very good point. The hottest women in the world are somebody's nightmare.
You said you were going to quit football. All right. Well, 1 more fucking year. It's like literally like $25 million maybe.
And by the way,
I just lost my shirt in FTX.
I was going to say,
Why
Tom Brady.
Help me out here.
Didn't they lose $600 million? Brady alone lost $600 million.
No.
Lost a amount of money.
He lost Kanye money, and he didn't even say anything about the Jews.
No.
He just made a bad call. At least Kanye could. You lost really $1 billion, $1.5 billion? Yeah, I started popping off about the Jews. Oh yeah.
God's on my side. God's on my side. He told me to do it.
Oh, that's a good question.
He needs to get involved in a charity scam like Favre. That's what he needs to do. It's like get involved in one of these fucking charities.
Hey, so what did you think of? Did you watch Chappelle's monologue?
Yeah, of course.
What did you think?
I didn't watch SNL live.
No.
I caught it. I knew I would catch it. Someone would upload it. I eventually.
SNL uploaded it, which is weird.
I don't think we weren't picturing you like in your pajamas, like with popcorn freshly popped at 11:25 as you're watching the end of the evening news. Oh, I've been waiting for it. Like I figured you watched it on Twitter like the rest of us.
Up, I'm an early '80s kid, so like when I was a teenager, or a young teen, preteen, whatever, it's like late '90s. SNL was still good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was
funny.
dope. We were in high school back then. That was dope era.
Will Ferrell.
So I remember those days of waiting up with the family watching SNL. It was like a thing. And if there was gonna be an episode that I would watch, it would be this one because all the writers were boycotting. So it was probably
a good one.
Good.
Well, you know
that
what?
Probably helped out.
It was literally just Dave Chappelle and Michael Che in that room. You're like, wow, this is gonna be a good episode. All right.
Right.
Yeah, SNL now is just Pete Davidson's dating app. It's what it is. Every star that comes in, he's like, "Hey, I'm Pete Davidson. All right, my dad died in 9/11. All right, man.
Man, I'm so quirky. Why do all these broads want to bang me? I don't know, butthole eyes. It's like a fucking young Steve Buscemi.
You call him butthole
yeah,
eyes?
Yeah, he
butthole
looks like he
eyes.
has Graves' disease. He looks like fucking young Steve Buscemi. He should have played young
right.
Steve Buscemi in
True.
Boardwalk Empire.
Well, he can't because it's too close to 9/11 because that's where his dad died, and he brings that up like all the goddamn time. The worst thing that happened
actually
because of
didn't know
9/11, the two worst things that happened in 9/11 were the Patriot Act and
True.
Pete Davidson, and that's, I mean, I stand by that. But anyway, sorry, we get off track because Dave Chappelle, the Dave Chappelle 15 minutes, and I've said this, might have been funnier than some comedians' hour special in terms of how topical it was, how funny it was, and you are correct that he helped write a lot of it because the first skit was a Chappelle Show skit where he introduced it, which was kind of funny, and he brought Ashy Larry back. I thought all that stuff was really good, but that 15 minutes was so funny, and I think that anybody that watched it just trying to understand comedy wouldn't have gotten mad. But were you surprised about the backlash that even Chappelle got?
No, not at all. And before I talk about the backlash, just a little comment on Chappelle in general. First off, he's the GOAT, and he has such a good way of weaving in reality and flipping it on everyone. No one's safe with Chappelle, which is good. You know, he makes fun of white guys all the time. You know, it's like, do it. You know, it's
who
fine.
gives a shit?
Make fun of everyone. Everyone, like, aren't we fighting for equality? Shouldn't we
Exactly.
Should we make fun of everyone? That's kind of what equality means, right? Although I think that's a sham equality, but it's another conversation as well. His monologue, it was kind of like, you know, you remember Blazing Saddles?
Oh,
like,
dude, one of my favorite movies.
Mel Brooks just, you know, he broke down walls and been like, yeah, you could do that, and it's fine, right? It is. It's funny, and it's like, if you allow it to affect you, then that's a you problem, not the product, or not the words, not the, you know, the comedian especially, you know, because he even said it, you know, and you could tell he got a little sad. He's like, it's hard to do this. I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
It's like, that sucks. Like, one of the best comedians alive today, the best comedian alive today, says he's having a hard time doing comedy.
Doing his job. Yeah.
Doing his job. That's sad. I don't want to live in a world where comedy is dead because someone can't take a joke or you can't make fun of them. You know, we need that.
And something else, because I think it got overshadowed by all the, you know, all the anti-Semitic, which nothing was anti-Semitic.
There wasn't a modicum of hate.
No.
In anything he said. It was all funny. It was all topical. At no point did I get the vibe of like, wow, he's really burying these Jews. Like, he was just like, did the logic. Like, that shit was funny.
Well,
he wasn't showing any anger about it. He was just going, look, I've been in Hollywood.
Show me anything he's done in his entire career that shows him hating anyone.
No, of course not.
You can't.
And you know what's funny is that the thing that got overshadowed because of that stuff was like Chappelle explained in a really smart and funny way why people liked Trump and voted for him. That got overshadowed. That whole segment when he goes, he was the first motherfucker that came out and goes, yeah, we're doing all the shit that we said we're doing in there. And it's like, that won him over was when that whole thing when he said, when he had to go, okay, hold on a second. He told Hillary, yeah, you're not going to change it because it benefits you too. That was he's a Democrat, so obviously he doesn't like Trump, but he was honest. And I think that's what makes him the greatest comic is it's not about politics. It's not about anything. I think the greatest people thrive in disagreement, as we were brought up at the beginning of the show. I think that's what makes things good. I think that it's okay to criticize your own side, and I think some people are afraid to do that. And I think Chappelle went out there and he was funny, topical, and like you said, there was not any hate that he's ever portrayed on any group of people. I disagree with sometimes I disagree with his, like, you know, really hard line Black Lives Matter stuff, but that's fine. If you're funny, I forgive a lot if you're a funny guy.
Social media ruined everything. I just want to go back to the days, like you said, where people can argue a little. Can we go back to the Dennis Kucinich, Ron Paul era? You know, when you had two guys that really disagreed on shit, but actually could sit down and go like, all right, well, what about this? I don't know.
Well, we would
compromise and we do this.
We would do that.
If he actually won.
We would do that, but what if one dude really, really wants to get his band